We'll come back and we'll get it on the way back. All right? You want to go to the park?
No. Park. The park.
Okay, that's where we're going.
The park. I want the park.
That's where we're going. That's where we're going. All right, let's try this out with whoever's here. Yes, that's where we're going. That's where I'm going right now, okay? What's up, Eric? How you been? Put this thing on. Okay, let's chit chat. And whoever chime in, they can chime in. Sounds like me waiting on to kick off. Let's see. Trying to get over here. Okay. Peace, and that's good to see you. Well, not see you, but talk to you. All right, now I got the right of way. I wanted to talk about something, and it's something we've talked about before, but I wanted to revisit it. And it's this whole concept of, and I just use the word magic, but it's like magic ain't no different than goal setting. It's made out to be something that's it's what you call it, manifestation, basic goal setting, magic, all the same. But some people, if you say magic around them, they're immediately turned off because their mind only thinks in the very rigid manner. Then there are other folks, if you would associate basic goal setting with working magic, they would say, oh, they would scoff at that because that doesn't, it's not deep enough, deep sounding enough, put it that way. But for our purposes here, we're going to interchange those words. When we look at the idea of, let's just take a professional athlete or entertainer. Let's just say the professional athlete. Now, from childhood, this person probably already displayed the abilities or abilities that were far beyond his or her peers. Oh man, it's traffic. And that child may have also had in his or her head that one day, they would be a professional athlete. And they fight and they work and they build themselves up. They get better, they improve, and before you know it, uh, they have manifested what they had created in their heads long ago. Here they are, uh, NFL player or NBA player or WNBA or what have you, whatever. But you always hear this tragic story of people going broke. It's like, oh man, this guy had it all, and he went broke. I have my own stories in life I've told and shared where I was just it's like I had the Midas touch. I just could not lose, and I had worked hard to get to that point, to prepare myself skill wise. I had the skill set. I have the skill set. Take that back. I mean, I ain't forgot nothing. I have that skill set, and I have the it factor in the area where I made a lot of money. But what I never prepared for, though, was the success. Like the title says, your magic work, now what? See, here's a great dilemma we face as humans and as people who have dealt with disproportionate levels of oppression, is that everything we do tends to be, that scuffle, that fight, scuffling to get uphill, scuffling to get somewhere, scuffling to sometimes just hang on. But even when we go beyond hanging on and we actually have successes, when your mind has been geared the whole time, and it's been in fight or flight mode, you don't know how to then shift to the type of mindset you need to maintain it. And then I see, this is last time I think we talked about hormones and things, and that's still relevant to this conversation, because when you talk about fight or flight, you're talking about your adrenaline and histamines and all these other protection, defense hormones that are necessary and needed when you have to move fast, get out of danger, protect yourself, all these things. But what about when you actually you have captured or you have secured dinner for the night? You had a great outing when you went hunting. You got an excess or surplus meat. How you deal with that? Now, my uncle, I would sit around and tell him, I've always been a person who had a bunch of ideas, some of the stuff be out there, but it was always, I've always been enamored with the process of making money. When I was we're going. When I was a kid, like a lot of other kids, back in the day, I would push the lawnmower around the street, go and cut some grass, cut some yards, make me some extra money. I had my first real job at 14, working at a Ramada Inn, cleaning up the property, and it was just not something I had to do. It's just I wanted my own money, So I would talk to him about all these great ideas, and one day, sitting on my grandmama's porch, and he said, okay, so when you get all this money that you're gonna make, what you gonna do with it? And I was dumbfounded. I was dumbfounded because I hadn't even thought that far. Now this of course, Mr. Mundane here, but this is metaphysics. This is metaphysics right here. Because everything sounds great. Everything sounds amazing when you think about, I have the ability to do this, to do that. And then what they do is they go and produce all these different movies like Doctor Strange and this all the Marvel movies and this and that, and now we've become so knowledgeable that we are aware that they are alluding to these powers that we have, right? But what happens is, by the way it gets presented, we're going to the part, remember? By the way it gets presented, it makes us subconsciously desire to see things happen in this magnificent Hollywood production. You know, I want to be able to point my finger and see, you know, the firmament split. You know, I want to see something on that level. So then it makes you numb to being able to detect and utilize your powers in your everyday life. It don't happen like that. But it does not negate the fact that you do have power. So you got all these different things at play. And why did I even bring that part up? It'll come back to me. But either way, the point is this, that we see these things, but we never really see ourselves as what we profess. And it comes back to just a lack of confidence. It's one thing to study something and to hear it and maybe even repeat it, but it's something else when it becomes a part of your DNA. It becomes an experience. But here's the kicker. Once again, we're talking about, but what happens when it works? So it's not enough even to have the experience. You know, it is before you have the experience, you got to already be expecting, like the old televangelists used to say, expect a miracle. So that is very hard to do coming from a position of, you know, that you've been lacking and, you know, you're just now, you know, experiencing these things. It's hard to put your mind in the mind state of, I expect this, so now let me start thinking like a person who already lives in this manner, who already functions with this level of power. So although I'm trying to acquire it, on one hand, I already see myself as that. And then what happens is, by me already seeing myself there, I then start moving like a person who's already there. This is just, I know it's super simple, super mundane, but it's just basically dealing with money. But money is just a representative of all aspects of our existence. But let's just use money. You know, like I talked about myself, is I really work to improve my skills and produce phenomenal results and so forth. And I was always aiming I had a certain figure I wanted to get to, a goal, you know, and I ended up getting that and surpassing it, but I never really saw myself there. And the thing is, I never really saw and understood what it meant to live in that realm. If I'm aspiring to be a god, then at some point I need to entertain, well, what is it to be a god? What does it look like? How do you function? How do you operate? Because if I don't think on that level and don't already see myself there, or just use basic observation of other gods, then I'm never prepared, and then I'm a perpetual rookie, a perpetual neophyte. What do you do once your magic works? And this is something to really, really give some time to, because again, when you're approaching things from being the low person on the totem pole, it always limits your capabilities. So although we have access and we now have an inkling of an idea of the greater capabilities we possess, it still is that lingering problem of the forgetfulness of where you came from, and the lack of confidence, and then just the knowledge, along with the forgetfulness is the knowledge of existing in that plane that you came from. And this is where imagination comes into play. Imagination. Imagining yourself. Now, and let me say this. This is not to suggest that this is the end all be all. All I got to do is just imagine myself and I'll magically appear in this. That's not how it works. But before there can be any movement, any effort, there has to be a vision. There has to be a vision. Before, as a visual artist, before I can draw something on a piece of paper, I'm literally seeing it before I put the pencil down. And the pencil has the job of etching out what I've already seen in my head. Now me drawing is the effort. It's the effort that I put forth. I have to make the effort of, I have to hold the pencil between my index and my thumb finger, my thumb. I have to determine how much pressure I'm going to put down on the paper. Am I going to draw this, or am I going to sketch it? Okay. How am I going to shade? Am I going to use hatching when I shade? Is this going to be a profile? Is it going to be a 3/4 front view, full body? So all of these things. This is the nuts and bolts. This is the left brain stuff. But the right brain is the picture has already been mapped out. And the effort is me applying, like I said, to actually put it on the paper. So it takes both components for magic to work, or for goals to be accomplished, if you will. But how do you respond once you have this beautiful picture? So along with you using your imagination to create the image in your head, you also have to create what will be the reality once the picture is done. How am I going to handle this magnificent work of art I'm going to produce? I already know that what I'm going to draw is going to be phenomenal. I already know. but I have to move accordingly. I have to make sure that I control, are there going to be any prints of this drawing? What's going to be, how will my signature be applied for someone to know that it's official, that it's me? How am I going to control forgery, or how am I going to control somebody trying to steal the image, or how am I, all these different, so I'm already expecting to win. I'm already expecting to win. I've already created the life of, after I've already created this work, and it being magnificent and it being desired. So that once I get there, I have less of a chance of failing, because I have already, and this is Kabbalah, I have already created the world to come. I created it in my mind. I created the world to come in my mind. Now see, this is the and this is how you bounce back and forth between your right brain and your left brain. Now that's right brain right there. I'm using my imagination to imagine me in this realm. But then my left brain application is, you study those who you deem are already, come on, man. Go on, man. Go! I ain't driving, fool. Study those who have already entered that realm. So, again, I'm using a very simple example, but we're talking about money. How do millionaires move and buy stuff? Let me give you an example. Let's not even say millionaires. Let's just say people with discretionary income who understand the value of things. Okay? Let me tell you what a millionaire told me years ago. They said, I never buy the most expensive thing, and I never buy the cheapest. I look to find what's in the the middle ground, the mid area. Now that might seem super juvenile, super elementary, but if you really just think, now how many people are actually thinking like that? You either got someone who is down and out, and they're trying to buy the cheapest thing they can get because, they're trying to, make sure they got some money to eat and all these other things. They're going to get the cheapest thing they can get. Now, what happens is they always constantly buying more. Always buying more because it was made to wear out and tear up fast. Then you got the people who want to impress somebody. So they want to go and have the most expensive of this and that. And what happens is they're the suckers who go and pay premiums. The premiums are set up to feed the ego. Oh, you want to have the for the ladies, you want to have the $5,000, the $10,000 Louis Vuitton. Okay, we make that for you. They also want to get you a doggone bag from Walmart, and that bag gonna tear up in approximately 3 months. Now the $10,000 Louis Vuitton bag is not gonna be no better than the $1,500 Louis Vuitton bag. That's the catch. But they're gonna make that one for the people who want to be able to separate themselves from somebody else and feel like I'm above you. But the person who understands value will go and get the $1,500 Louis Vuitton bag because they know it's going to be quality, they know it's going to last, and they know if I take care of it, this is going to be a one-time purchase. So that's an example of, okay, however this person made their money to get to the point where they can buy a couple of high dollar bags, or can go and get, instead of buying some instead of buying some Stacey Adams dress shoes, they're gonna get some floor sheen because they understand the value. This is the difference between you working your mojo and you get somewhere and you now in a place that you feel completely out of place. You don't know how to function. You're intimidated. You don't know what to do. Because yes, you worked hard to get there, but you never really saw yourself getting there. And this is from the most mundane to the most magnificent. This is from you actually making some money to you actually becoming a god. A card carrying god who has the ability, who has greater ability to control his or her destiny and surroundings. So it's just something to think about, you know, expanding our minds to another level and not getting, maybe not so caught up in the theatrical aspect of what we can do, because I guarantee you everybody's got power if they tap into it. But the key is, what am I going to do with it? What am I going to do with it? How can I focus my light, focus my energy, contain it, grow it, versus I've got this light and I'm just going to turn the switch on, just let it go. I'm just going to let it go till it burn out. Now, which leads to another thing. The whole idea of this platform that we're on right now. This platform that we're on right now. Part of it is designed to burn out light, like I said before. It's designed to burn out light. You know, I've aspired to have these, 10,000 subscribers, 20,000, 50, 100,000. Yeah, we're going to the park, son. You know, but my light got burnt out along the way. Not me. I'm just saying, speaking in general. You have to always be seeing, although we know literally there's no finish lines, but you have to always be seeing an aspect of your finish line. Although we know it moves, you got to always be seeing a finish line. Seeing the end to determine how you going to play the game. Always seeing yourself, whatever you set out and you say that you're going to do or accomplish or manifest, you've got to literally know that you're going to do that and have to investigate life at the level that you aspire to be at. Which I know I'm repeating myself, but it's worth repeating. You know, I don't know what these. They up here in Dallas trying to act like they in Houston, like they trying to swing, but it's they swing look more like a switch, like it ain't working. But either way, something else I was gonna say, but let me just see what's. For me, and the image comes from the cake. Please, anything can. I am a substitute teacher. Oh, looking for a new home. Anyone can help. My credit is crap due to student loans. You know, I'm gonna say this, and I'm qualified. If anybody's qualified to say something about what's her name, Miss. Okay, I can't read because the screen bouncing. This is what you need to stop and do for a minute. And you need to see yourself exactly where you desire yourself to be. And I don't mean this to sound like no cliche. So let me clarify what I'm saying so it just don't sound like no Tony Robbins. What you are expressing right now is the pain. The pain. Okay? I don't want you to express so much of what the problem is. Take some time and truly investigate what is peace for you right now. What is your idea of peace? That's on the imagination side. You envision that. What is your idea of peace? What is your idea of happiness? And then the left brain part is you need to go and put numbers with that. You need to go and put numbers with that. That means if your idea of peace is, and of course you gotta use common sense. It can't be, Henry. Where'd you drop it? Your idea of peace can't be nothing ridiculous. But use your common sense. And then you go and you put numbers. That's where we're going. We're going to the park, son. Then you got to put numbers to it. Now, see, and I'm telling you this from experience because these were things that I just would not do because I truly felt like my credit and things of that nature, that's a wrap. But let me tell you this. There's a reason why banks have people come and bring a P&L statement, a business plan, and all these other things before they can borrow money. Because this is a magical thing. When you go and you've gone and done all your due diligence to project, where the business is going, you've looked into, well, how much is marketing gonna cost? What is my target market, my demographic, all these different things. By you putting the mental strength and power into that, you are creating a space, the world to come. The bank wants to see that you have done your due diligence to do your part of the ritual. Your part of the ritual is that you have to map out all these things as though they already are. You go and done all these P&L statement, what is it going to cost us, all this, but you doing this based on their money. You don't have the money yet. You've made up all of this stuff based on the projection of the bank loaning you this money. That's magic. Magic rules the mundane world. We use it everywhere. It's just that we're looking for it to look like Doctor Strange. So the magic I would suggest is right now identify these hard targets and start working at those things and separate yourself from the immediate pain, because what's going to be is going to be right now. But I can only tell you this from being on the other side of the fence. Because when you're in the midst of your perceived suffering and pain, the number one thing you're concerned with is the pain ending. Okay? So sometimes some of the stuff I'm telling you now can only come from getting to some degree of getting past a certain stage and being able to look back and be like, oh man, I remember when, whew, man, you know. But in the midst of your suffering, you've got to already be projecting what is beyond that. Now, this is not to suggest that that's the end all do. All I got to do is just sit around and listen to these. No, that's not. But it is part of the plan, the process, because what can happen is the powers of your imagination can be retarded by pain and suffering. That is why poor people, if they do come across some money, they get an insurance settlement or they don't know what to do with it because the whole time they've been thinking about just trying to get some relief, not actually thinking about, man, I'm preparing to be on top. I'm not preparing to be a serf and a peasant for the rest of. I'm actually preparing to win. How do people who win move? So right now, shift your focus. Shift your focus. Because really, yeah, somebody might be able to tell you something about some housing or this and that, but that ain't really gonna fix your immediate problem. Your immediate problem is there's a energy that needs to be changed. How do I know? Because I know. I know. Go back through the videos and you'll see. I know about paying your rent with $2. You can talk about, well, you got to rely on nothing but magic, or pay your rent and the account is $5 negative. But it's like we almost need to have survival magic, and then we need to have thriving magic. So take a break from the survival approach. Think about the thriving so that you create a place for yourself to go. Create the world to come. I hope this don't sound disingenuous or like I'm just dismissing and trying to do some Les Brown retreat or something, you know, but I'm serious, because this is where, see, let me tell you something. A miracle, magic is not all about what we can't control. Magic is about the space we can create for things to happen. I want to say this again. Yes, I told you. Magic is not just about what you can control. It is about a space that you create for things to happen. That space can allow things to happen that you don't foresee, and then that's what we consider to be, oh, that was a miracle. It's magic, miracle, whatever, it's all the same. But there's things you can do that we can do to create the space for things to happen. And I mean, crazy things can happen that you don't even see coming. Okay, I ain't got much time here because this it can create the space by you projecting your mind away from where you are right now and not just thinking about getting relief from the suffering that you're feeling right now. And again, this is not to dismiss. This is just to contribute to the movement through this season that you're in. But shit, we gotta wrap it up because
open the door. Open the door.
I gotta let
Open
this
the
boy
door.
go and run off some of this energy while the sun up.
Open the door.
But we'll pick back up with this conversation. Her name is Mrs. Celeste. You know, we send you love and light. You know, but I truly, when I tell you what I'm telling you, you know, I'm a private person, so I don't. That's like that. That's a lie. You get on here and run your mouth, but okay, son, we're going. But there's a lot of stuff I don't tell. There's a lot of things that have happened that I can say are very miraculous. But and maybe we can share them down the road. There you go. Open the door is the answer. L Toya 30. That's it. That's what I'm trying to say in a nutshell. Open the door. That's it. And on that note, we're gonna wrap it up because I gotta get on my daddy duty. But as always, appreciate y'all joining in. It's Brother Jamal, mastersofthecosmos.com, reminding you to stay down until you get up. When you get up, stay down. Peace.